So the rule says if you have terms adding, so one by one find their antiderivative. Antiderivative of x cubed, you're adding 1 to the power. So that makes it 4x to 4. And then 1/4. Plus, for the next one, you keep the 4. You add 1 to the power. So that's 1x cubed, 1/3. Minus, you keep the 8. You add 1 to the power. That's 2 times 1/2. Don't forget plus c. So the first one is 1/4. X to 4. Plus, you give denominator of 1, numerator times numerator, 4. Denominator over denominator times denominator, 3. X cubed. 8 times 1/2 is 4, so minus 4. Or you could give denominator of 1 and simplify. X squared plus c. Okay. The first one, x to power 1/3. You're adding 1 to the power. That's x to power. 1/3 plus 1 is 4/3. And then 1 over 4/3, which is 3/4. So we add 1 to the power and we say 1 over that. But when it's a fraction, it's like a flip of the fraction. Minus adding 1 to the power here. 1/2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. So it's x to power 3 over 2 multiplied by 2/3. Or again, 1 over 3 over 2, which is the same thing as 2. And then by the rules you learned in 6-1, if you have a constant, then it's just constant times x plus c. Step 1 to do this problem is distributing x. So distribute the x. That's integral of 5x squared times x is 5x to what power? This is power of 1. You add the powers is x cubed. Plus x to power 1, x to power 1/2 is x to power 3 over 2 dx. Now think of, you keep the constant, add 1 to the power, that's x to 4, 1/4, so that's times 5 times 1/4 times x to 4, plus add 1 to the power, x to power 5 over 2, multiply by 2/5 plus c. 5 times 1/4. You give denominator of 1, it's 5/4 x to 4 plus 2/5 x to 5/2 plus c. So you must, if you have, but in the case of u substitution on the radical, in the fraction, denominator of the fraction, so those are the u. So u is equal to 5x plus 8. Now think of what is du. And then substitute. That's a 5. Derivative of 5x is 5. Derivative of 8 is 0. So you just, every time you find du, you need to have dx. Means derivative with respect to x. Okay. So you divide both sides by 5. Dx is a radical u. Instead of 5x plus 8, I put u. Instead of dx, I put du over 5, but instead of over 5, I pull the 1/5 out. Do you see? Dx is du over 5. So instead of dx, I replace it by du and 1/5 out. That's 1/5 integral of u to power 1/2 du. Now I want you to continue to find the antiderivative. So 1/5 u to power 3/2, because you're adding 1 to the power, and multiply by reciprocal here. When it's a fraction, instead of saying 1/3/2, you just say same thing as 2/3. So numerator times numerator, and don't forget plus c. Denominators times denominator. So 2/15. Instead of u, I'm gonna rewrite as its equivalent, 5x plus 8 to power 3/2 plus c. Any questions? So I'm going to give you time. X. So you know that integral of e to x dx is e to x. But you don't know what is e to negative 9x. So that's where you know that, oh, I need to let the power to be u. So then find du and then do the substitution. Because anytime you have e to some power, unless it's x, you have to use u substitution. Anytime you have a parenthesis where you cannot FOIL it, then you have to use u substitution. Radical, same thing. So now find du and substitute. So du of derivative of negative 9x is just negative 9. We always put dx at the end, means derivative with respect to x. Okay. So now let's do the substitution. Exactly. So for the power, I'm going to put u, so that's e to power u, integral of, instead of 9 dx, for 9 dx, I need to divide both sides by -1 to isolate 9 dx. So that's du over -1, which you can again pull the -1 out. Now what is antiderivative of e to u? E to u, you carry the negative plus c. That's equal to -e, and then instead of u, I put -9x plus c. That's the answer. What do you think is the u in this case? So the examples that I give, I mean, the questions that I put on the test is for the u substitution is within the difficulty of what you see here. Yes, 5 minus 3x. So it makes sense that you study all these questions well. So u is 5 minus 3x, find du. Substitute, find it, and then find the limits. Steps together. Du, derivative of 5 is 0. Derivative of -3x is -3. And then we always put dx at the end. So now we say this is equal to, you don't need to put the limit yet. You say, or you change the limits and put it, we'll do it. So you say 1 over u square. You only have dx left because you put u square. This is u to power 2. Instead of dx, I'm going to divide both sides by -3. So instead of dx, I'm going to put du and then -1/3. You have two ways here. Either you calculate new limits using substituting, like if I substitute 0 here, what do I get? Because there are limits, I can change the limits here so I don't need to substitute back. So if I put 0 for x, this is gone, so I only have 5. So my limit is 5. And then if I put 1, no, if you put 0 for x, 3 times 0 is 0, so u is 5. So I put 5. And then if I put the limit as 1, 5 minus 3 times 1, that's 2. So when I replace 1 in the x, then my new u is 2. So from 5 to 2. So let's do that. That's equal to -1/3. Let's find this integral. How do I find this integral? 1 over u squared is the same thing as u to what power? Yes. So now I want you to add 1 to that power, multiply by reciprocal. So do that math thing here. And then from 5 to 2. Calculate it. Lower limit could be more than the upper, so it doesn't matter. So do the work. Tell me what you get. Okay, now you're adding 1 to the power, so that's u to power -1, and then 1 over -1. So -1/3 times -1 is +1/3. U to power -1. It's the same thing as 1 over u. Going from 5 to 2. You keep 1/3. Then you say upper, replace it. It's 1/2. Minus, replace the lower. Okay. So now do the math. You can use your calculator. 1/2 minus 1/5. Get a common denominator. Multiply top and bottom of this one by 5, top and bottom of this one by 2. It's 10. 5 minus 2 is 3. Again, your calculator also has the key to do fractions. Now 3 and 3 cancels. You have 1/10. 1/10 is the answer.